very mix of audience here. We have people who are from HR and business world, and also we have some of our students from RPS Institute, and who are also our education partner in this whole webinar. So I hope that our panel will be able to touch upon all the aspect which makes sense for our global audience, and also varied range of HR business leaders and students. With that said, let me start with one of my personal experience and why I think this topic is close to my heart. So as everybody know, that pandemic hit us long back. Looks like that it's a new normal for all of us to talk about it, but it has changed the way the organization used to work. And the way it has changed is that people have gone completely remote in the beginning. Then gradually the offices have started opening up. It was hybrid model. People were confused, but the business was going on, right? The first wave came, the second wave came, and now we are in Omicron era, and there are a lot of confusions around that as well. When we finished our second wave of COVID, I remember an incident where we always felt that while working at home, there is a lot of pressure on health and well-being for our people. And also, I belong to IT industry, and if you read news and watch news, you will find out that IT is one of the growing industry right now, which means that the work pressure on IT people working in IT industry is very high. And I'm sure that's the same case with all other growing industry. We thought that maybe it's a good thing to take our people for an offsite with two purposes, of course, to plan for 2022, but at the same time, just make sure that we meet all our colleagues who have joined us during this pandemic and we did not meet them yet. And I remember this incident where we went for an offsite and I met one of my colleagues to whom I used to, in fact, every single day, as she used to report to me directly. I said, happy to meet you for the first time. And she said, no, we are not meeting for first time. Remember, you are the one who took my interview in person. And that struck to me that we always talk about that we have not met our people, face to face. They have joined, we have not connected with them. But I realized another problem, that maybe my memory fade away for that person, that I ever met the person. So this is what happening, what pandemic is doing to work culture, and it is very, very hard for us, especially talent and business leaders, to build an environment where we will be able to engage our people in the hybrid world. I'm sure this is the challenge for many of us. I do not think we have found the solution for it, but yes, I think the organization and business leaders are trying to find out ways. They are trying to try something to make sure that they will be able to achieve employee engagement in the hybrid world. What I expect from us today's conversation and with the panel, and which I think I'm also very excited about, is because the panel comprises of people who are leading organization, both from talent and business perspective, and not only India, but also in a region, APAC and globally. And also we have two partners who have been helping and supporting organizations in building employee engagement in the way they can. So it's going to be a very good conversation, listening to the business leaders and also the organization supporting those business leaders in employee engagement itself. So what I expect from our today's call is that the business leaders and the organizations and partners supporting organizations in employee engagement should be able to give you those stories or experiences or their struggle, what they are facing in engaging our employees in hybrid world. Our team members are scattered across India, across globe. I know the global one was still there, right? In the sense that even when we were working globally before COVID also, we were not able to meet them as frequently. But it was not the case when you have team members in India, right? You're still not able to meet them. That was not the case. Let's try to find out and see how we can get some solution out of it. But before we jump into how do we engage our people in hybrid world, I would like to touch upon a pain area. Many a times, the word employee engagement is not understood properly. What I mean by that? What I mean by that is that when we say employee engagement, what comes to your mind, right? What is employee engagement? What comes to your mind? What do you think about it? Is it that the organization should be celebrating birthdays, anniversaries, your wedding, or congratulating you on your work anniversary? What is it, right? Is it a coffee? Is it a lunch? What is employee engagement? And why it is important conversation? I think we should start our conversation from there, just to set a base. And I think it is going to be good for people who are starting in the HR and business world, and also for a student. But I think I have seen many seasoned professionals also struggle with that. So I think it will be good to set a base of for what is employee engagement. And for that, I would like to go to Neeraj to ask him if he can throw some light and set the base for this conversation by telling us what is employee engagement. And then after that, we will jump into how we can engage our people in hybrid work. So Neeraj, if you can help us and our audience to understand about it, it will be great.
Thank you so much, Govind. I hope I am audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay, great. So thank you so much, and happy day to all of you, and excited to be here. I think that as Govind mentioned, I think last 2 years have been quite challenging for everybody, from the business perspective, from people perspective. And engagement to me as a word is very close to my heart, because over the last 18 years I've been working very closely with the business leaders, to try to crack, the code of employee engagement. Engagement is a word which is used very loosely. As Govind mentioned, engagement is not a business of cheerleading, if I may say. Engagement is a word which constitutes many other factors, which includes development of the employees, which includes emotional well-being and many other factors. So keeping all that context in mind, I would like to share a brief presentation, which will give a little perspective as to what should we see, or how should we see engagement, overall in whatever we do, in whichever industry that we work with. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
Okay, great. So one thing which is very important, that all of us need to understand, that before we even get into the business of understanding what is employee engagement, it's very important that we understand that people are over everything else, right? People are the core of our business. Whether I'm working for a manufacturing industry, whether I'm working for an IT company, whether I am working for organizations like Swiggy, Zomato, right? People are the center of anything and everything, and they are the core of our business. So it's very important that we keep our employees happy and engaged. Uh, Engagement is also about capturing employee heads over hearts, right? One of the things which I've realized over the years, based on my experience, is that if you are able to touch somebody's heart, right, there can be many other things that the employee would be ready to ignore, right? A lot of times we feel that people, and especially today's generation, they are kind of running after money. But my personal experience says that if we are able to touch people's heart, if we are able to understand what is important for them, right, we would be able to cater to many. We would be able to keep them engaged at a much larger level. There is also a big difference, between satisfaction, versus engagement, right? If somebody says that I'm happy and satisfied about what I do, so it's about doing my job, making me successful, and personal commitment, right? While engagement is more about doing my job above and beyond, right? If somebody tells me that if there is somebody who says that I do my 9 to 6 job, right? I do what I am given to do, right? That is a person which I feel is not engaged, right? If I understand that this is something which is important to my organization, I find opportunities to go beyond my role, that is somebody that is an engaged employee to me, right? Engagement is also about making me and the company successful, right? It is about collective stories. It is about me also getting to be better, as an employee, and in the turn also helping the organization. So one of the things which I keep looking at in people is that, do they have a story for their own self? Do they have a vision for their own self? Right? If I feel that an employee has a vision for his or her own self, he will ultimately be a very engaged employee, and he will do a difference and make a difference to the organization. Right? And engagement is also about mutual commitment. Right? Are we committed towards the cause which is there for me as well as for the organization? Is there a synergy between my vision for the company, my vision for my own self, and my vision for the company? Uh, Engagement is also very, very different for different people, right? One size does not fit all, right? As leaders, as people in HR, and as business community, we also need to understand that everybody has their own things that they want to have in life, right? Somebody wants to have a better work-life balance. Somebody wants to have, earn more money. Somebody wants to get a fast promotion. Somebody wants to be near to their family. Somebody wants to be closer to their offices. So we cannot, have one size fit all kind of an engagement program for every employee. And this is especially very important with, with the newer generation that we have, because they expect us to have and give them new opportunities, and give them more empowerment. So one size would never fit all. That's also a very important point that we need to keep in mind when we talk about engagement. Now coming to the real, what is employee engagement? I think this is the topic that Govind gave me. So engagement is about communication, right? It is also about how can we have internal and external communication, how there are open communications and smooth channels of communication of policies and information between employee manager, employee leaders, and the organization. So communication plays a very important role, which is part of employee engagement. It is about recognition, right? Recognition is not just about money. Recognition is a simple pat on the back, announcing employees that they have done a good job, sending a simple email to the employee that you feel that they have done a good job, recognizing them publicly. One of the things that I've realized over the years is that if you are able to recognize people in a larger forum, in a group, that goes much beyond than giving them money in their salaries or giving them big bonuses. So that is the power of recognition, and it plays a very important role in keeping an employee engaged. Work culture. In the last 2 years, I think empathy has become very important element as part of employee engagement. I feel that I have become more empathetic, towards my team, towards the employees. I am more aware of what is happening in their personal life, what is happening in their professional life. I know their families more. I'm more empathetic to their work-life balance, right? And that is how it creates a genuine connect between me and my team members. So work culture also plays a very important role. How can we be more collaborative? How can we give more opportunities? How can we be fair to employees, while giving recognition and giving good work to our team members? Career development, another important, very important factor. Am I able to give the right fast-paced career environment? Today's generation, India is a young country, and globally also, right? The new generation wants fast-paced growth. Are we able to give them that fast-paced growth? Are we able to recognize people and cut our boundaries and cut our rules and regulations in terms of promotions? Sponsor them in terms of their career development. I see a lot of companies doing online certifications these days. A lot of new companies have come up, right? So giving them sponsorship in terms of courses and certification also is an important part of employee engagement. Celebrate. When I started, I mentioned that engagement is not cheerleading, but it is an element of engagement, right? Are we able to celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, milestones, not just employees' birthdays, knowing their families, newborns, and many other things. And I'm sure we'll talk about some innovative ways of engaging in the hybrid world, and that's our main topic for today. People connect, very important. I've already touched upon that. And pay and benefits. I think that it's very important that we are fair in our benefits, we are fair in our rewards to our employees, and there are some very innovative ways of benefits being given by different companies. I was talking to one of the vendors recently, and he talked about that he's come up with an idea of giving elderly care, especially for employees who have parents are in India, and they are working in different cities, or NRI Indians whose parents are in India, and they're able to provide regular connects to their elderly parents. So I think that these are the components of employee engagement, and I think that if we are able to touch all of these points at different times in an employee's career over in the organization, it can go a long way, and it can really help keeping our employees engaged. So back to you, Govind.
Well, thanks, Neeraj. I think nobody could have said it that well, and showing that, building the context of what it is. I love the way you said it. It is in capturing the heads and heart both for your people is what employee engagement is all about. And also one size does not fit all. I think that's very, very true. And that's the challenge organization, especially the larger one like yours, faces when you have people in all age groups, and you have to make sure that you work for them, whether somebody who is very, very senior to somebody who's very junior and have altogether different needs. So how do you balance those kind of stuff for employee engagement is really, really tough for all of us. And love your last slide where you explain actually what all comprises of employee engagement. And if you look at that slide, I think anybody can tell that employee engagement is very vast than what we thought. And I would like to touch upon two, and that's why in this today's webinar and also upcoming webinar, what HR Success Talk is also trying to do is to touch upon each aspect of what is employee engagement, especially in hybrid world. And so I think we all should stay tuned for that. In today's conversation, what I would like to touch upon are the two aspects which you was explaining in your slide at the end. One was about career development or people development. Many people do not realize that investing in your people through various technical or non-technical program can also support or help your people to engage with them. It gives them a feeling that their organization is serious about their personal growth and professional growth, both together. At the same time, I also like to touch upon a little bit on recognition part of it, that how does that play a role in it. I would like our audience to keep asking questions on the chat box. Feel free to do so. We will take questions at the end of this webinar if your question is not answered already. So if you keep asking, we can also allow you to unmute yourself later, but keep throwing your questions on the chat box. And I would also request our speakers, if they have time to answer the questions on the chat box, that will be great, because we might not have a lot of time to answer each and every question. So as much as we can tackle on the chat box, feel free to do so. If you have any suggestions over what our speakers are saying, do that also. You can put your feedback comment on the chat box. I see some of the comments already coming, like Rahul and Bandru Venkata. So keep doing that. And I think that will be helpful for you to get best out of it. Now, as Neeraj has explained what employee engagement is, I think it is important for us to understand what is the challenge, right? In the hybrid world, what is the problem we are facing, which we were not facing earlier? And for that, I would like to go to Sharad and ask him that what are the challenges he sees in his organization and the industry or overall that is hampering employee engagement, or what are the gaps he sees that he is seeing in hybrid world where people are not engaged?
Thank you. Thanks, Govind sir. Very comprehensive presentation by Neeraj. I think he has covered a lot of points, and that helps me to build on what the challenges are in the hybrid or the remote working mode. Just to do a recap, I'll just do a recap in probably 30 seconds what employee engagement is, because that links closely with why the challenge. if you see, an emotional involvement and a meaning and purpose, when people find meaning and purpose in their job, when they are emotionally involved, then you say that people are engaged, because engaged employees take discretionary efforts. They go, like Neeraj rightly said, they go above and beyond the call of the duty. And when they make that discretionary effort, the things that they are not asked to do, it may not be written in their job description, it may not be in their goals, it may not be, you didn't tell me, therefore I didn't do it, not in that mode. When when you involve your heart, your body, your soul, and you give 100%, that's when you are engaged, right? Now, therefore, the challenge in the hybrid world. Firstly, a lot of the visual, verbal, physical, gut level communication is missing in the virtual world, especially if you're, even when you are on camera, you are only watching a screen. You are not meeting the person physically. You are not doing a handshake. You are not looking, you are not able to make an eye contact. A lot of the micro expressions are missing. The physical energy and the positive vibe is missing. A number of informal conversations that you do. You talk to somebody in the corridor, you go for a cup of tea with them. Even as you enter the room, you feel the energy. You can make eye contact with everybody who is in that room. You can raise your hand and say hello. All of that is missing. And communication theory, as you rightly said, there are a lot of students here and varied participants. 85% of communication is nonverbal. And so if you have your camera off, 85% of that communication is missing, right? You are talking into a screen. You're not talking to a person, right? It's not the same experience. Talking to a human being is an energizing experience. You get to know somebody, you understand their mind, you develop an understanding of their feelings, you develop an appreciation for them. And it's completely missing. So I see Rambha saying, well said, Sharad, energy transmission is missing. That's exactly the point which I'm making here. And this is so passive, like people have to write it in the chat. But if you had an actual conference, you could see people sitting at the edge of their seat, maybe having a question mark on their face, maybe clapping, doing something, and then you get a two-way communication back, right? So all of that, so that's a challenge. The second thing is remote location is a challenge. Technology is a challenge. You very often, like you play a video, you think you have made a great video. When you put it on Zoom, it doesn't work properly. So you say, okay, let me try one more time. So technology glitches are always there as much as it advances. So technology is a problem, location is a problem, absence of visual communication is a problem. What Govind sir said earlier, we have not met a lot of people who we hired remotely. That is a challenge. Culture is a challenge, and culture is a big one, right? Cracking the culture code, as Neeraj said, cracking the code of employee engagement. So cracking the culture, because culture plays at many layers. You have an individual personality, you have individual ethos, the way you are brought up, the things that you believe in. Then you have the organizational culture, then you have the regional culture, and then you have the country culture. So there are many layers of culture that you have to cut through, and it becomes very complicated when you are working remotely. The time zone is a very physical, practical challenge. Do you sit late because you want to be comfortable for your North America stakeholders because it's daytime for them, or do they stay late in the night because you want to be comfortable on your India time? All those kind of things. So yeah, I mean, it's a human challenge. It's at a human level, because human beings cannot survive without other human beings, And I remember, it will be very strange for many people, and I think our students will be younger even than the time that I'm going to talk about. In 1993, I went for an international seminar, and it was on transactional analysis. And the presenter was a social scientist from France. and it was on organizational holistics. They said that technology in 1993 already existed for people to work remotely. But the reason why nobody worked remotely is because people need other people. You need the social energy. You need to connect with them. You need to transmit that energy. You need to share that energy. So a remote organization may not be possible. That's what they felt in 1993. Today, we know that strong remote organizations are possible. But there's some truth in that, that social connections are important. They also said another very interesting thing. They said business units should not be more than 200 people. The reason is the average human being can remember 200 to 300 names and know about 200 to 300 people personally. So if you start building business units larger than that, you start losing the personal touch. So those are some of the challenges. Govind, sir, back to you.
Yeah, Shad, great way to explain. And I think I'm myself surprised to know that um, the the technology and the setup was ready long back to make us all work remotely, but we didn't do it, which is an obvious reason. Today we are forced to do it, but I think the question is how well we are doing. And I think you explained all those challenges which we face, and the one which I is very close to my heart and I believe is the biggest one is how do we sustain the culture in a hybrid era. When somebody joins the organization, there are multiple ways you can make that person feel the culture the organization has. But when you're working remotely, and especially when you are not able to meet them, you don't have offices, people are working from anywhere, it is very hard to connect with the person and make sure that the person is able to experience the culture of your organization. But still, I believe there are ways which we can try, and as I said, I don't think we have nailed it completely, but every organization has different needs, and the business leaders of that organization need to find those ways by which they think they will be able to engage their people even if they are not coming to offices. So as we heard our business leaders, we heard Neeraj, we heard Sharad, of what they think is employee engagement, what are the challenges we are facing. Now I would like to bring in Priyanka, who is from a corporate gifting organization, and they support organizations in engaging their manpower and team members through corporate gifting. So Priyanka, would you like to share some of your experience of how your organization is supporting other organizations like ours in engaging their employees by recognizing them, by telling them that how appreciative we are for them through corporate gifting and other means?
Sure. Thanks, Govind, sir. Actually, it's a very interesting question. And first of all, I want to start with what is actually corporate gifting and why it is very important. So, in this business world, gifting is your first step actually to, build relationship with your employees and your clients. The objective of gifting is actually that is to make an impression and a connection with the recipient. Okay. So, as a corporate gifting company, we always think of something very innovative and innovative ideas so that the clients and the employees will always be engaged to our company. So, what is actually happening? Gifting is actually an emotion. Okay, we try to connect gifting through the emotions part to someone, and employees when they receive gifts is actually the happiness, the dignity, and the strong I would say the feeling of being connected to the company actually. uh, so how can we actually use this happiness to connect more to the employees engagement and how to engage people who are not your employees? So for that we have certain processes. For example, we had been providing onboarding, offboarding gifts. Then we have even been providing offer kits. Now, this kits we started last year only, where we send offer letter to the employees' houses or homes, and with that we even send a small token of appreciation so that they'll feel more happier to receive the gift with the letter and with a handwritten card on it. And I believe with the statistics which I have seen, 5 out of 3 employees say yes in a very faster rate and they accept the offer. So this is how important corporate gifting is. That actually creates a very good impact on someone's mind. And that is what it is happening nowadays. Not only these, the farewell gifts, which we call as offboarding gifts. So it's not only about the gifts actually, but the emotions connected with it. So here in Matyaj, we have bikers and we call it Ginny actually. Why Ginny? Because they are actually, we termed as, they go and they deliver gifts with the faster rate. So we call them as Ginny. And so when they go to the client, they are wearing client's t-shirts, client's company's t-shirt, which was actually a very innovative thing which we did. When you give gifts to the client, and for example, if the client is A and we give their company's logo printed from our side, that is a very different emotions which they face. Like, they will always remember this. So that is an innovative thing which we have created. Plus, when they are delivering the gift and requesting a selfie actually to them, so that later on all the selfies are then created and taken, and then we are publishing all those selfies online to all our social medias. The benefit of this as employee engagement is the employee of the company are actually happy, because when they are delivering, they are doing it out of emotions and with a small, with a smile on their faces. And when the collage is ready, we publish it on all social media, our LinkedIn profile, our Instagram, our WhatsApp group, everywhere. Okay. So this is all circulated on all our social medias. Now, people who aren't aware of it, they also get to aware of such companies doing this kind of services and everything. So this is actually creating a good impact on everyone's mind. And, we got amazing response on this. And so we are even adding more services under our corporate gifting. So it's not only about the festivals like Diwali or Holi. It's not about that. For example, on March, Women's Day is coming. And we have prepared women empowerment gifts kind of stuff so that it will create a good impact on women also. So see, these all we are doing. And because of the COVID situation, which is happening nowadays, we thought of coming with digitalized ideas. For example, we are giving digitalized cards for our clients, and e-gift cards, vouchers, etc. and etc. And for offboarding, we are preparing a slides where they are showing their journey, where we are showing their whole journey in our company. And that will actually creating a very nice impact, that will, we personally believe that a client or an employee is not only now, but an asset for our company and forever. So we think about that. Thank you so much, sir.
That's really awesome, Ms. Pujari. And I think this is exactly what innovative ideas we need to come up. I know that the experience you're talking about, that gifting is not about what you gift, it's about the experience you create for your people, and also giving them a kind of message that we as an organization care about you. You are still in our thoughts, and what can be a better way than sending a gift with something which is personalized, something which they value, and it connects them with the corporate. And I could see a lot of chats going here and there, but so let me go to Neeraj, as Neeraj was tackling some of them. So Neeraj, you heard Priyanka speaking about various innovative ways of corporate gifting. And one I think I loved about was the offboarding gift. So the organizations are giving gifts to people even if they are leaving. And I totally see a sense in it, right? With the talent war going outside, even if you are losing a team member, you want to make sure that the team member goes with a sweet memories. And what can be better than creating a sweet memory by giving a gift to the person? Maybe he doesn't like the new company he's going with and he wants to come back. Like, look at the return on that gift, right? It's a huge return on the gift. So Neeraj, I will ask you two questions. One, which I wanted to ask, another one I think I've seen audience asking as well, and you are responding to that, is do you also in your organization do such kind of innovative ideas to engage people through corporate gifting specifically? And another question from our audience, I think, is Vinod saying he felt that the research said that gifting might not help in increasing the employee engagement. What is your take on that, Neeraj?
So I think I would like to link this to the engagement part again, and I'll give you an example. During the pandemic, and this happened to me, and and thanks to my manager, my manager Rajiv. So during the pandemic, I got promoted, and he came specially to my house with a cake. And I was going through a meeting, and he called me that, Neeraj, where are you? I said, Rajiv, I'm taking a call. And he said that I'm outside your house. Can you come down and tell me, can you meet me? I said, what happened? Because, it was something which I was never expecting. So I quickly finished the call and I went down, and, he came to my house with a cake and some flowers. And, he took the pain of coming here and, with my family congratulating me. I said, Rajiv, it is such a surprise. I was not expecting that you are here. So he said that, Neeraj, I'm here for a reason, right? I want to say thank you to you, and also congratulate you that you are getting promoted. It is a gesture that touched me, to the core of my heart, right? And it is not about that cake, right? It is not about that flowers, but it was about the gesture that touched my heart. And he cut the cake with my son, my wife, right? And it went a long way, honestly, right? And taking the cue from him, I did the same with my team members. One of my team members was promoted. So what I did was that I called her and said that, I want to talk to your husband, right? And she said she felt that, she has done something really wrong. And I was very serious to her that, can I talk to your husband? Because I know, spouses of my team members as well. And I spoke to her husband, and I said that, I'm very thankful to you and your family, because, your wife kind of supports us. And as a gesture, I'm also sending a gift as a gratitude to you, and to your family for all the work that she has been doing for us. She sacrifices her personal life. And my team member was, thoroughly touched, with that gesture and with that gift as well. So it is not about gifting, as I mentioned on the chat as well. It is not about the gift. It is about that emotional connect that develops, by giving that gift, right? And it is more important today, because we are not meeting people, right? It is extremely important, as Sharad mentioned, right? I'm not able to see people with their eye contact. I'm not able to understand how they're feeling, what they're feeling. So it is more and more important. On the alumni bit, I also really like the idea, and I've already started working on it. And I'm a strong believer that when the employee is leaving, give him the best experience, because he is a brand ambassador for you in the market, right? So I'm already going to be working with with the team here, right? And I'm going to work on a farewell gift. What we have also started doing is we have an alumni connect group, and we run a lot of contests on that, and we also give certain gifts to them as well, right, to ensure that we keep engaged with them. Uh, so that is on the separation part. But we start very early with terms of our gifting as well. We start by when somebody is given an offer, and especially for the senior leaders, what we do is that we give certain gifts to them when the offer is released. The recruiters have become so sensitive to the candidates because there is a lot of talent war which is happening, right? There have been times wherein somebody was given an offer. We got to know that it is his birthday during the time between the offer to the joining stage. The recruiter sent her gifts, sent her flowers and a small gift, and it really helped, right? And the person was touched that she remembered my birthday even before I had not joined. And that really helped us in keeping that person engaged and warm, and he ultimately he joined the organization. Another example was, somebody was unwell. While we don't send gifts to people when they are unwell, but we send something which can help the person, right? To support the person. The idea is to create that bond, right? I don't think so. Flowers or a gift of 1,000, 1,500 or 200, 2,000 rupees. It is the gesture that is extremely important, right? So starting from the offer stage, to the onboarding stage, giving an onboarding kit, and then various milestones in terms of long service awards, in terms of recognition, in terms of newborn babies, in terms of marriage anniversaries, right? There are various milestones that we have picked, and we are constantly working on evolving those gifts. And gifts can be of any kind, right? Even a book to somebody, right, is a great gift, right? If you feel that the person has a certain interest, because books are very, very personal. These gifts can go a long way in building a relationship, right? It is not about the commodity, it is about the feeling and the touch, and the emotional connect that it creates. So long answer, go into a short question, but I hope I was able to answer the
No,
question that you
it was a very well answered, and I could see the kind of chat it has triggered on the chat box, and I couldn't agree with my audience more on what they are saying. But let me try to summarize what it is all about. And I can add my personal flavor in it, Neeraj, because one of the tasks I have given my team in the beginning of this year was to find ways by which we can engage our people in this hybrid world. And they are doing this working group, finding various ideas, and of course, recognizing and gifting is one part of it. By the way, it is not the only part, just to my audience to say that, as Neeraj has explained in the last slide of the presentation, that engagement is a vast field. What we are trying to understand more is how corporate gifting and career development is going to make an impact on it. It's going to be a longer conversation. We cannot touch upon everything. So we're going to have multiple webinars on it. Today, we're going to focus on corporate gifting and the career development. What I could say, and I loved about it, Neeraj, is the initiative you explained, where you guys came up with an idea to call family members and thanks them for their family members who are your employees, their contribution. I think that's a great one. How do we implement, operationalize, another thing, but I think it's a great idea, because if the family is touched, then I think you will have a more engaged team member as opposed to earlier. So I think that's a great idea. I might like to leverage that and discuss that with my team as well. What I hear from you is that more than a gift, it is basically the experience and emotion attached with that gift, which people value. But such emotion and such experience add more or is more impactful when it comes with a gift. It doesn't matter what the gift is. What people realize or recognize or remember is the incidents associated with that, as you explained in your case. And also, if you are doing something like that, I think it has to be done with a strategy. It should not be done random. It should not look out of the strategy, and there has to be a strategy why you want to do things like that. One incident maybe I would like to share is that, and I think it's also connected with the experience of part of it, is that we had the choice to either gift our people through e-cards or vouchers, or send them gifts at home. And we have almost 400 plus team members across India, which means that sending gift to their places will be very heavy on our pocket because of the expense of courier, right? You courier stuff to the people. And we chose the harder way to courier people to their home. Reason being that we connected it with a strategy of personal experience and reasoning. So there was a reason why we were giving it. We reached a milestone and we wanted to recognize, we wanted to appreciate everybody. So we sent gift. But what we did is we also sent handwritten cards to each and everybody by their managers. I can't tell you, Neeraj, nobody spoke about gifts, by the way. Everybody spoke about those cards. And our social media went absolutely crazy that it was noticeable in other part of the world where we have offices, that this gesture of writing a note, personalized note for your people while sending a gift was a huge impact on people. I'm sure this is not scalable. You can't do it every single time, but you should do when you think you can do, right? So this is what all about building an experience. People were bragging about it to their colleagues and relatives, and I'm sure it might have helped us hiring somewhere. And as I said, it is not the only way. It is one way. We have to find, depending upon the culture of the organization, the budget we have, the problem we are facing, we should be using many ways, and we can use this as one of the ways. All right, moving on. I think let me also touch upon the career development aspect of employee engagement. People sometimes ask me why you think trainings and learning interventions can help a person to get engaged. I think this is, in my view, this is the most important thing. People get engaged with the organization. If I know the company is investing on me by multiple ways, whether they are sending me to outside trainings, whether they are sponsoring a certification for me, whether they are making me part of an internal workshop and training to take me to the next level or make me a better professional, I think I will always be committed with the organization who wants to invest in me with an objective that I'll be a better profession. And maybe as a result of that, I may go to the next level in the organization. I would be serious with the organization, connect with the organization, and like to grow with the organization. Hence, I would like to invite Sharad again, asking him, is he using learning intervention or L&D as a tool to engage team members and employees in his organization? So Sharad, if you can throw some light out there.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for that. I think learning and development is a very important part within the career strategy as well as an employee engagement strategy. Today, learning and engagement, they go together. In fact, in the knowledge industry, learning is a very important lever for employee engagement because the knowledge industry worker is, career development is nothing if you're not upgrading yourself, you're not upgrading your knowledge, your skills, you get irrelevant pretty fast, So just like your technology, people also get obsolete. So if you're not always learning, and learning engages your mind, I think the knowledge industry person is always looking to learn more because they know that learning adds value to their CV, learning adds value to their career. So I think learning is an integral part of our engagement strategy. We have increased our L&D budget by about 15 times in the last couple of years. The amount of money that we used to spend on L&D has gone up by about 15 times. Our L&D consumption has gone up significantly. We are now at about 5 learning days per person per year. That is our goal. We are pretty close to that. Including high quality. So we don't believe in only classroom learning anyway in remote. That's not the concept. It's more online. But also we have the mantra that every moment is a learning moment. So it's about learning culture. It's about creating platforms. It's about creating communities within the organization. So for example, we have a people best practices group. So within the people best practices group, the people managers come together. They share what practices are working for them, how they could learn more. They interact with leaders. Leaders give TED Talk kind of things within the company. Very popular. These are very popular platforms. And you could say they are employee engagement platforms. And so we have L&D business partners, and we also have HR business partners, and they work together as one team to achieve these kind of goals. Also our L&D team is called as learning experience team now, because just like employee experience, we have an employee experience team, and we have a head of employee experience who actually is responsible for creating unparalleled employee experience, right from the day you first contact them to their last day and even afterwards. Similarly, we have the learning experience, and learning experience consists of, how it's curiosity is the foundation for that. How do you make people curious? How do you create a fearless culture? You can ask anybody any question because you have a questioning mind, and that is how you learn and you get a proper answer to that. We have a lot more open houses. We have webinars, we have certifications, we have an innovation platform which is global, in which every single person can communicate and they can get answers to that. We have just started another platform called iAgilis, which is about agile software engineering practices. And that is again something in which company-wide, all engineers, everybody can participate. They get answers to their questions. So basically communities, today the organization is a community. That's what we have realized, because it's like one for all and all for one. A pandemic has taught us that. So the community building, it's like Govind, sir, you know best, you have created an amazing community, HR Success Talks. So that's the kind of community and platform which we are creating within the company using themes which will engage people. So book lovers can come together as a book loving community. People can walkathon, people who walk, their fitness conscious can come together as a health community. So that's what, community, creating communities, managing communities, getting people involved in communities, getting people. So you always find there are some people who are higher up the curve. You will find somebody who is a health and fitness freak, knows everything about it. And you have, on the other hand, spectrum, who has probably just started exercising or not even, doesn't know where to start. Somebody who is a book lover reads a couple of books every 7 days, and you have somebody who's never read a book. So you get them together, you get the people with the knowledge and the experience to share it for the benefit of people who don't have that experience. And that builds bonds, that builds everlasting bonds sometimes. And it's not just the manager and the employee or just the senior people and the employee, but it could be anyone to anyone. Sometimes it could be a reverse mentoring concept. A young person can teach you a lot of things about, blockchain, cryptocurrency, metaverse, gaming, how to be, and Netflix, which are the cool things to watch. So young people have a lot of knowledge and they can teach us that. People who are aging and on the wrong side of 50 like me. So learn from everyone. Once we build that culture, that there's a lot to learn from everyone, not just people with experience. Then you start changing the culture. You start building a learning community, and that's why we call it every moment is a learning moment. So those are my thoughts on L&D and L&D combined with employee engagement.
Wow, that's really, really passionate, Sharad. And I like the title of Learning Experience Partners. That's really, really powerful. You guys have really started a hot conversation, not only here, but also on our social media. And people are jumping in, asking so many questions, putting +1 and maybe their opposite thoughts on what you guys are saying. And one thing which I see is Gargi Ghosh, who is the HR business partner in HCL. He is watching our LinkedIn Live at this point in time, all of you. And he is mentioning and asking you that in IT industry, the attrition is going double digit, and what are the things organization can do to engage their employees. And I believe he must have got his answer, because I remember Neeraj, Sharad, Priyanka all have spoken a lot about what are the various ways we can leverage. So let's continue asking guys those questions, and I'll this is the last question.
Govind, I would like to add a couple of things on that, because you had asked me about challenges, but not the solutions. So I didn't cover the solutions part then. So what has worked for us? It's a big investment that we made. It's an investment in people, basically. And we went counterintuitive. We went against what the industry is all about. Industry is talking about automation. It's talking about AI, ML, data science in HR. right? And a lot of that is sometimes driven from ROI perspective. How do you decrease your cost? How do you optimize, etc., right? So we are pretty strong in all of that, by the way. I don't mean to say that we are going low tech, but the decision that we made intentionally was that we will not compromise employee touch, right? We will not automate that part of it. So we made a decision that we will have an employee experience partner or the HR business partner for every 100 to 150 employees, which I think is the highest ratio, probably among the best in the industry. Industry is working at maybe 500 employees, one HR business partner, sometimes 1,000. So if you have a routine question, go to our intranet, get the answer there, or read the policy, or talk to this chat bot. Don't come to a human being. We are totally opposite to that. We are saying come to the human being because that's where the relationship is. It was a very big investment, but it is a strong belief of our founders. And we didn't hire freshers and low-cost resources in our employee experience team. They are very experienced people, highly paid, very experts in employee experience. And we have maintained that ratio of 100 to 150 employees, one employee experience person. It's paying us well in a very tough market, as you rightly said. Today, the talent war is on. Some of the most biggest brands and the most respected names, they are reeling under 20, 25, 30% attrition. Ours is one of the lowest in the industry. We are still under 15% attrition. And I would attribute that to the employee experience and the learning experience investments which the company has made, so the personal touch never goes out of style, in simple words. People need a human being to talk to. The chatbot is great. I mean, it's a fancy technology. You love that when a chatbot can answer your question, nice. But that doesn't substitute a human connection. So I don't think we should automate human connection. If you maintain that, if you invest in that, your attrition will start coming down. That's my point.
That's make perfect sense. And I think these are the various ways by which organizations should be focusing gradually. And we'll continue talking about that. And Sharad, as you spoke about L&D and its role in the employee engagement, we have Himanshu, who is leading a team and owns a company which helps organization in executing their L&D initiative. And I would like to go to him and ask this question, that how he and his organization is supporting organization like ours in executing the L&D initiatives for their team members, and not only growing the organization, but at the same time engaging those people better in the organization. And after that, I'll take all the questions from the audience.
Thank you, Govind, for the question. And I will proceed with what Sharad said. Give me a second. So what Sharad said, the 5 days training per year, most of the time we have this question where we say, what do you want to be, what do you want to become after 5 years from now? Where do you see 5 years from now to an employee? Now, this question, if we go back into the training mode and we ask a question that how much duration of training has been given to you in the 5 years? So if you are giving a training, again, containing the word Sharad said, 5 days a year training to employees, 5 full day training man hours can be really helpful for the team to, boost up their skills. And when it connects to Gen X and Gen Y these days, the mentorship and the digital world has created a lot of things. So if I say digital world, the word metaverse has been spoken today a lot. Cryptocurrency, metaverse. So let me give an example as a company, what we are doing. Metaverse is a technology which is coming up now since last year. And what is happening is now we can go virtual. COVID is there. COVID is affecting a lot. And the Zoom, Google Meet sessions are not that successful. Of course, they had changed the world. Now the global audience is connecting comfortably. But in Metaverse, we had been, as a company, helping a lot of our clients by arranging conferences, trainings virtually, where one can, enter into the room like you are sitting in a conference, like in a theater. And in using the 3D models, you can just behave the same way he was doing a physical